Have you ever said a name in the dark just to see what would happen? Maybe it was a sleepover, maybe it was a joke, maybe you didn't really believe anything would answer. But what if something did? Tonight, we're talking about the rituals people whisper about, the games you're only supposed to play after midnight, the names you're never supposed to say 5 times, from bathroom mirrors to elevator doors, from candlelit bedrooms to glowing Ouija boards. People all over the world have tried to summon something. Some were looking for proof, some were looking for a thrill, and maybe some were just trying to prove it wasn't real.
But the stories they tell afterward, they don't sound like jokes. In this episode, we're diving into the lore behind the entities people claim to have summoned, where the legends started, how the rituals are supposed to work, and why certain names refuse to die. And then, we're reading the first-hand experiences, the messages, the confessions, the "this happened to me and I still can't explain it," stories from people who say they actually tried. So before we begin, ask yourself one question. If nothing is real, why are so many people afraid to try it alone? You're listening to the Afterlife Hotline. Let's see who answers tonight. Hi.
You could just see him peeking over your head as you were talking.
I could see him in my reflection. Oh.
Oh. Hi, hello.
Hello.
We're the Afterlife Hotline.
Go ahead.
I'm Daneisha.
I'm Ashley. And I don't know how to speak.
And
Wait,
welcome.
my turn.
Welcome back.
He's going to poke out on your side now. I can see his ears on the shadow on the wall. We have a little
we have a spooky entity of our own.
Familiar.
Ow! Oh, there's a wall there.
Are you okay? Yeah. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new.
Today we're talking summonings and stuff.
Yeah.
And things.
Yep.
So
there he goes.
I summoned him. Look, he came.
Woo!
And now he leave. Well, now he sniff. Before we get into the Reddit stories we found, let's talk about why summoning rituals are such a thing in the first place. Almost every culture has some version of this. A name you're not supposed to say, a spirit you can call if you follow very specific rules, a ritual that opens a door. Whether it's a mirror game, candle ceremonies, elevator rituals, or spirit boards, the structure is always the same. Intention, repetition, and invitation. And that's the part that's interesting. A lot of those legends, from Bloody Mary to modern internet entities, spread through word of mouth, sleepovers, and now social media. The ritual gives people a sense of control. It feels like if you follow the steps exactly, you're safe. Like these are the rules that protect you.
Little do you know.
Right?
But in folklore, rules don't always mean protection. Sometimes they're just the instructions. Psychologists would say suggestion, fear, and expectation can make normal things feel supernatural. Shadows look darker, houses creak louder, drafts feel colder, but believers argue something else entirely. That repetition and belief give energy to an idea, and eventually something answers back. Manifestation. And whether you believe it's psychology, spirits, or just really good storytelling, the experiences people report afterward are intense, consistent, and sometimes terrifying. So now we're going to read some of those firsthand accounts. These are people who say they followed the steps, they said the name, they played the game, and according to them, something happened.
Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. This is more of something for us to think about.
Okay.
This was a Reddit poster, Edward Bliss, and it was posted 4 years ago in the Paranormal thread. It says, has anyone heard of the dead tone to summon interdimensional beings or ghosts? I've been listening to the Joshua P. Warren online show lately, Carrying the Flame of Art Bell, and I came across an episode on interdimensional beings like Chupacabra, Mothman, etc. Close to the end, he played something called the dead tone, which apparently is to summon or stir up interdimensional beings, including ghosts.
Oh.
This wasn't the first time he's played it. The last time the listeners recorded it and played it in the woods and heard something weird, like unearthly growls.
I wonder if it's like the death whistle.
It could be. I'm not sure.
That thing sounds creepy.
I didn't listen to it.
Oh, I wouldn't.
My house has a bit of paranormal activity in it, like an antique mirror that I'm uncomfortable looking at, lights flickering, objects missing, etc. So there's no fucking way I'm going to have this thing play for the full 20 seconds. But my curiosity was piqued. I had to hear it for a split second, and it basically sounds like a cross between a deep electric buzzer and the static you get between stations on those old transitor radios. Really creepy sounding. Any thoughts on this? And then a commenter had actually found the episode that was mentioned and gave the time frame for those who do want to listen. So it is episode 14 of Interdimensional Monsters on the Joshua P. Warren podcast, Strange Things. And the time frame is 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 58 seconds. That's where that sound's going to be. I'm not going to play it.
No.
But I wanted to touch on that to see like what you thought about the possibility of using a sound.
So I like whether I believe or not that it could summon something. Yeah. 100%. Just because I've seen like where people do like that death whistle and it sounds like somebody screaming and supposedly like that summons stuff. But then also on Two Girls, One Ghost. So Sabrina, she's really into the there's certain tapes that have different frequencies, and whenever you listen to them and you go through like the guided meditation, like it can open up like different parts of your mind or whatever, and you can do like past life regression, you can do astral projection, you can do all kinds of things. So yeah, I definitely believe like sounds and stuff like that could definitely
manifest stuff in. Yeah, I'd have to agree.
I think anything with energy really could manifest.
Well, because if you think about it, even if like you were to chant, that's an audio, you're audibly doing something. So yeah, I found it interesting that somebody had something called the dead tone, and I wanted to bring it up and see kind of what your thoughts were. So let us know.
What do y'all think?
Have you heard of this podcast? Have you listened to this? Would you play this? I would not play this in the woods like this person said, that listeners had
I don't
done.
even know if I would want to play it in my house because I wouldn't want to invite anything into my house.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how I feel about that. Nope. Couldn't be me. I ain't playing shit like that. Okay. So this one that I have is called The Most Terrifying Thing I've Ever Seen, My Experience with Bloody Mary. I remember this story about a day ago and could not stop thinking about it. So I got onto Reddit and found the group Paranormal. I'm sorry for any grammatical errors, for I'm a mobile user and have large fingers.
Felt.
I remember this as though it happened yesterday. I was in first grade at the time. Damn. My mom is a paranormal investigator, and that is why I have such an interest with spirits. One day, I was hanging out with my friend, who I will call Q. Q was talking to me about the ghost named Bloody Mary. He told me all about how to summon her, and me, being a stupid kid, wanted to summon Bloody Mary. I went to the bathroom with Q, and he told me to say her name. I don't want to say it because I don't want to, like, accidentally summon anything.
To BM.
So,
or Mary.
He says, Mary, I've got your baby. Then spin 3 times while pretending to hold a baby. I started to have second thoughts because my mom always told me not to mess with this stuff, but I did it anyway. After I did the summoning, I looked into the mirror and nothing happened. I looked back at Q and said, see, there's nothing And as I looked back into the mirror, I swear on my life, I had seen a woman in a white dress. I did not get a look at her face because when I saw the dress, I ran faster than I ever have in my life. After catching up to me, Q asked what was wrong. I told him everything that happened and I never went there again. A couple months later, my principal asked my mom to do an investigation at my school. Apparently, a janitor killed himself, and every teacher had seen something weird. A year later, the school shut down due to the floors starting to sink. There's a Facebook page all about getting the school repaired, and I have moved away since.
Wow. Yeah, there was a summer camp I went to. I don't think it was in a summer camp. It was like summer daycare, basically. Like whenever your parents go to work and they send you to the not summer school, but like it. I
Day
don't
camp
remember what it
something?
was called specifically, but I do remember we were in one of the like little because our school had like the little trailers for some of the classrooms.
Mhm.
And I remember in one of the days we were in there and they wanted like the kids wanted to do Bloody Mary. And I was like, fuck no. That shit
Yeah.
scared me. Still
Yeah.
scares me.
Yeah. I just didn't want to summon anything. No thanks.
Ugh.
Because then I feel like even if you're skeptical, just having the thought and like manifesting it and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, like I feel like something's gonna happen.
But since you touched on Bloody Mary,
Do you have one?
yeah. Hey. I have one that goes into Candyman. So, the real world origin for Candyman, and I don't know that a lot of people know this, especially in like more of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
So, it comes from a short story called The Forbidden by Clive Barker. It was published in 1985 in his Books of Blood collection.
Oh.
Uh, what's important of this story is that the original character isn't a hook-handed figure that we know. The hook figure was really solidified with the 1999 film adaptation, and I'm just gonna say I don't like the remake that they did. I don't like it at all. The 1992 one, good. Love that one. Chef's kiss. This new one they made, get out of here. Anyway,
She said no.
the 1992 film defined the legend that we know of Candyman. It starred Tony Todd, may he rest in peace. You've watched Final Destination, right?
Yes.
The mortuary guy, the black man.
Okay.
Yeah. That is he. He is since passed. And in fact, the newest Final Destination is his last film.
Oh.
He passed shortly after it released.
Oh.
The film gave him a tragic and violent backstory. He was the son of a formerly enslaved man, became a successful artist, fell in love with a white woman in the late 1800s, and was brutally murdered by a racist mob. His hand was then cut off and replaced with a hook. He was covered in honey and stung by bees. So now he's just not some random spirit. He is tied to racial violence and historical trauma, and that gives the myth a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
And in the movie, he is.
I'm glad you're talking about that because I didn't even know that.
Mhm. Yeah.
And a lot of people probably don't know that either.
They really, I think, switch, like it's still racially motivated and tragic in the remake, but they switch like the meaning behind it for me. Like it
Are they
goes
trying to make it more like digestible?
more modern,
Okay.
like very real, and it just takes.
Is this something that actually happened?
Mm-mm.
No, it's
No.
just a.
It's just a myth.
Okay.
But it's something like in the movie, and I think the 1992 does a really good job at showing how these things kind of manifest, because his myth really takes hold in the projects in the town that they're in.
Okay.
And it's that community that really believes in it and uses it as fear. And then there's like he ends up showing up because his disciples essentially are starting to lose their belief in him because of this lady who's doing this research project and proved that it's kind of like gang that is making it stay relevant. But he does then appear because his people are losing faith.
Gotcha.
And so it's a really good, and it's not gory, so you might actually be able to enjoy that one.
Okay.
The summoning ritual was simple. You say Candyman 5 times in a mirror.
Oh.
That's it. That's it. That's all you do. Why this works, though, and it feels psychological, because mirrors are already a liminal space. You already have portal symbolism. They already kind of give people a lot of unease. So it's already kind of there. And then it's repetition. Repetition feels like ritualistic. You're actively choosing to invite something in. And this is not accidental, like, oh my God, I found this, or I accidentally bought this cursed item. You're choosing to bring it in. And that part of the participation is like the key part of the urban myth. Before and after the film, kids treated it like Bloody Mary. It's a sleepover dare, bathroom challenges. Even if you didn't fully believe it, no one wants to say it the final 5th time. That hesitation is the power of the myth. And I think it is for a lot of these kinds of myths. It's the fact that something in the back of your head is saying, don't do this last bit. Don't do this last step. Don't fully dive in. And urban legends survive because people keep reenacting them. Candyman literally requires your reenactment. You have to go into the mirror and say it. You have to do it. So you have to be a willing participant, and that's what keeps it going. It seems like a fun sleepover challenge. The deeper theme, and why it's a bit more than a game, is it's got collective trauma, forgotten violence, and it ties society's past of suppression. Even if the legend only exists because we repeat it, we're the ones keeping it alive. And Candyman doesn't need the candles. He doesn't need the summoning circles. He just purely needs your voice.
Yeah. Oh. See, knowing the backstory for them, though, I would want to summon them just so I can sit there and talk to them. And be like, what happened to you? I'm so sorry.
I don't know that they would. I feel like
I don't think they would care. They'd be like, I'm here to kill you.
Yeah. Well, then, and in that movie, like, he appears and he's definitely of violence. But there's also,
Rude.
and I haven't gone into their sequels and stuff, and I haven't watched those, but if memory recalls, the woman that we're following in the first movie is like a descendant of the woman he loved.
Okay. Oh.
Because like he winds up driving her insane. She winds up getting arrested because they think that she's killed a baby, a dog, and I think her best friend. But in reality, it's all Candyman that's done it. But because the people didn't believe, he had to make them believe. Is
he trying to make them believe so that way it saved her from getting put in?
Oh, no. He wants her to accept him fully, and I think basically like by doing that, she would be able to get herself out in like a paranormal way.
Oh.
Because I'm pretty sure she goes in and like kills her husband. Or scares the fuck out of him or something like that. But like she gets into the house after he kicks her out and moves in with his college floozy.
Oh. You know.
More things irrelevant to the story, but basically the whole of that is that we keep him alive because we, as children and people of interest, just try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you think about it.
With all of them.
Yeah, you just go in there and you just, whatever the ritual is, whatever it's supposed to be, you just try it.
What if they're like on the other side and they're just like, damn it, I wish these people would just leave us alone so that way we can rest in peace.
Right.
And then it's like everybody keeps summoning all of them and they're just like,
well, and
here
then
we
also,
go again.
Like, another thing I'll touch on a bit more when I talk about Slender Man, because I do have Slender Man on here, is like, if it becomes more than just like you and I, like the whole world knows about Bloody Mary. The whole world knows about Candyman. The whole world knows about Slender Man. How much does that matter in manifestation?
Yeah.
How much of a collective conscience have we then given this entity energy?
Yeah. And I wonder if like that alone like creates the entity.
And that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit.
Oh.
Just a little bit. I don't have a lot of like, but I do think that's something that we can dive deeper in another episode.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This one's not really too long. It's called Help. I summoned a demon and I don't know how to get it out of my house. I don't even know if I believe in this stuff or not, and I don't want to look like a fucking idiot, although I guess at this point it's a little late. Maybe all this is a weird coincidence, but I want it to stop and I'm willing to try anything. I don't know how short I'll be able to keep this, but I'm going to try. I was drunk with my friend one night a couple of weeks ago. We were bored and one thing led to another, and we ended up using an altar I built to send some entity to go after some guy and make their lives miserable because they suck. Allegedly. I didn't think anything would happen, although I should have used better judgment.
Yes.
Strange things have happened when I've played with that altar. Well, nothing interesting seemed to happen to the guy, but I was not so lucky, and I'm pretty sure whatever we summoned didn't go do what we asked. I don't blame it, honestly. We only gave it $1. Still with me? Sorry, this is long. So, paranormal occurrences that have happened. Early last week, front door sounds like it's opening around 5 a.m. I mean, it really, really did. I sat in bed with my gun pointed at the bedroom door until the sun came up. 2 days ago, I hear the sound of my attic door open. It's right next to my bedroom. Last night, it's 3 a.m. and I hear a few knocks on my bedroom door. Fucking seriously, I live alone. How could this be? I didn't even investigate. I was so scared. I just hid under my blankets until I fell back asleep because I couldn't even deal with how scared I was. And I wanted to just be sleeping when I got murdered. I'm really
Same.
like, I don't want to know what's coming.
Like, just fucking, you better one shot. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up in pain. Just boom, dead.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. I'm really being serious. Please, if anyone knows how to get rid of whatever this thing is, just let me know how to do it. Or if you've had this problem, tell me what you did. I am not trolling. I'm scared out of my mind. It's getting late here, and I'm sure if there's something here, it's watching me talk shit about it on Reddit as I'm typing and is going to do something even more scary later. Hope someone helps. Update. Thanks, you guys. I told it to leave last night, and it seemed pretty uneventful. I think we're good. Hopefully. Anyway. So
that's what I was going to comment and be like, have you told it to leave?
To like get the fuck out. You know,
things come back.
Sometimes if you don't really know how to do certain things or like spells or summoning or whatever, it's best just not to do them because I feel like you might have messed something up and instead of it going to something else, it backfired. Also, $1.
$1?
That thing was probably just like,
the fuck is this going? Like,
what is this?
What am I supposed to do with this?
What am I supposed to do?
Since you talked about that one, I'm going to put my other Reddit story back in because it's kind of similar.
Okay.
It's a very short one. So this one was posted by Betting on Stupid. What did I summon? This was a long time ago, almost 30 years, but it still freaks me out. I had one of those everyday witchcraft books. It wasn't the real title, but I can't remember it. And in the back, it had a spell to kill someone. It involved staring into a candle while tying a rope into a knot 7 times and saying a phrase over and over.
That's like black magic shit.
I'm not putting the phrase in because you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing it because of some girl I didn't like. I was a teenager. I'm sorry for being stupid. Anyway.
Wishing death upon somebody. That's a little bit more than being stupid.
Anyway, about halfway through, I started thinking, this is stupid. What am I doing? And I stop, blow out the candle, and put everything on a shelf and go to bed. Immediately, I start hearing all kinds of weird noises. My curtain by the head of my bed is moving and there's no wind. My window isn't open. No fan is going. I start getting scared. Those noises get more intense and lots of creaking and the curtains are moving more, like sporadically. I'm basically hiding under my covers and I can just feel something is in the room with me. I finally say, leave me alone, and everything just stops instantly. It's like I'm in the quiet. Did I summon something horrible?
Yeah, you tried to murder somebody. Like, excuse me.
As a teenager, too.
Also, might I say, because I know some people, they practice this type of stuff. Don't do this unless you know what you're doing. Because then, just like a Ouija board and stuff like that, you can summon shit that you're not meant to summon. Also, these entities are full of tomfoolery and they will pretend to be things that aren't, that they actually are not.
They're tricksters.
So, like, be careful. Don't summon stuff unless you're a professional summoner.
How to not summon demons.
Yes. Honestly.
I just had to put that in there because they were asking for tips and this person was just like, leave me alone. And it stopped.
There was one I didn't include in here, but basically this person was living with an entity. I don't know if they had accidentally summoned it at one point. I don't know. It was so funny because they just had a knowing of like where this entity was and like they couldn't see it, but they could tell like if it was in a certain part of the room and just staring at them or just like hovering above them in the bed, you know, whatever. And it wasn't causing them any harm. It was more of just kind of like just interested in what they were doing all the time. Well, I guess they were a college student or something and they were like, you know, it wouldn't be so bad, but I have to get up at like 4 a.m. and do this and do that and, you know, whatever. And so it just kept basically telling the entity to like fuck off, like piss off, go do something else. And he said there was one day he literally just told the entity because he was in a room and he could just tell it was just standing there just staring at him. And he was just like, fuck off, go away. And he said he could just sense the entity just kind of went and just left. And he hasn't had any occurrence with him since. And he goes, you know, I feel really bad now, and I really hope that it's okay. And
Me.
we're just like, everybody in the comments is just like, wow.
Me.
Like, it was just curious and stuff like that. And then you just tell it to fuck off, and it's just kind of like, oh,
see,
okay.
I feel like if that was me, I'd be like, look, if you're gonna sit there, can you at least help me with my homework?
Honestly. Or like, go stay in your own room while I sleep. Because like, I need to get sleep.
Like, you can stay here, but go in the other room.
I felt so bad because someone was just like, I just imagine it having like the puppy dog eyes, just kind of like, you okay, go away.
It's the crying in the window with the rain.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, poor thing.
Honestly. So since I talked about Candyman, I'm also going to touch on Slender Man. Fun fact, I don't know if you knew this, but Slender Man was created in June of 2009 as a Photoshop contest.
What?
Yep. It was on the Something Awful forums, and it was a contest to invent paranormal images. That was it. It's just a Photoshop contest on a forum. That is how Slender Man came to be.
What the fuck?
The creator was Eric, and I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name because I'm going to butcher it, but he went by the username of Victor Surge. He posted 2 edited black and white photos of children with a tall, faceless figure in a suit standing behind them. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen that picture. We can pop it in. The caption implied disappearances, and that was it. That was the whole thing. That is Slender Man's origins. There was no ancient myth, no ritual, no folklore roots. He was just born in a comment section. The summoning narrative started because after those first posts, people began adding fake police reports, witness accounts, ritual instructions, and drawings by the so-called missing children. Then came a YouTube series, Marble Hornets, which was also released in 2009. And I have actually watched Marble Hornets, and you can still find it on YouTube. I started watching it with Dustin. And I remember distinctly there was one night, it was me, Dustin, and our friend Eric, and we were watching Marble Hornets one night, and then we went out for a car ride, and I want to say we were going to Dustin's house, or Dustin was maybe dropping me off, or we were just riding around. I don't really remember. Anyway, we were riding around in the buttfuck middle of nowhere country, near where your parents live, and I remember seeing Slender Man under a streetlight. And being petrified. Now, I didn't really see Slender Man.
Wait. Were you hallucinating, or were you fucking with them? Or
I think I was just so scared from watching Marble Hornets
that your mind made you think that you saw it.
Because like the whole shtick was like, if you see him, he's never gonna leave you alone.
What if you actually saw Slender Man?
Maybe. But after that series came creepypasta adaptations.
Oh, lovely.
Tumblr lore threads.
Oh, Tumblr.
TikTok occult, much later when TikTok finally came a be. And the myth evolved collaboratively.
Oh.
It was everybody else talking about what Slender Man was and how he came to be. So as a collective across the digital platform, we all created him.
Oh. And Eric is probably sitting there just like,
fuck, y'all.
This isn't what he was meant to be.
Yeah, like he was just some Photoshop contest.
Damn.
But we all, as the internet does, made it this huge thing.
That just goes to show you like how influential the
internet can be. Oh, yeah. But that brings me to the tulpa theory, and I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's Tulpa. Get your foot. No, I'm just kidding. Some online communities have claimed Slender Man became a tulpa, which is a...
Wait, what the fuck is that? Yeah, I know you probably just said it, but I was trying to turn myself.
I'm about to say it.
Oh, just kidding. I really thought I missed something. I was just like, wow, I really tuned you out. Can only do one thing at a time.
Some online communities claimed Slender Man became a tulpa, a thought form created by collective belief.
Tulpa?
Tulpa. Tulpa.
Thought?
A thought form. So something that you thought up that became a form created by collective belief.
Okay.
So the collective
So it's not like an acronym for something.
No.
Is that the right word? Acronym?
Acronym, yes.
Okay. Smart. I was sitting here trying to pronounce. I was like, how the fuck does tulpa mean that? But it's not
No,
everything's
it's
an
just
acronym,
yeah,
actually.
not everything, yeah. Dear goodness.
I'm sorry.
A tulpa is a concept popularized in Western occult spaces, misappropriated from Tibetan mysticism, where intense mental focus supposedly gives form to an entity.
Okay.
The argument is that thousands of people are imagining him.
Mm-hmm.
You add in fear, and you add in ritual role play of all these rituals that people think is how you summon him, even though they don't really exist, and that can equate to manifestation.
Yeah.
Which would make sense as to why I felt like I saw him, because we weren't summoning him, but we were watching and consuming a lot of the content. And the Marble Hornets content shit looked really, really real. It was like found footage kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like that shit freaked me out.
Yeah.
I was also 12, 13.
Oh, damn.
But there's no scientific evidence that this theory is real. Psychologically, though, it's very, very fascinating. And then, of course, if I'm going to touch on Slender Man, I do have to approach the 2014 stabbing case.
Oh.
Yes. In 2014, two 12-year-old girls in Wisconsin stabbed their friend 19 times and claiming they did it to appease Slender Man. We've known about this case nationwide. They both have already had their sentencing, I think.
Something just popped up about them recently. About one of them.
I think one of them is released.
Yeah.
I think the other one is in a mental institution. I don't really remember. There is a documentary on Netflix, I think, or Hulu called Slender Man, and it goes into kind of primarily one of the girls.
So my question is just like, how the fuck is she getting released? Like, are they just
I think they were tried as minors, and so once she became 18, she's no longer a minor.
So she just gets away with murdering.
Well, this was also the guilty by association, less of the act. I don't think she actually did the stabbing. I think she was just there and like went along with it. I don't really. It's been a while since I've watched the documentary.
They both need to be in a mental institution.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Because like
they very well could be also.
Yeah, because like regardless of whether you believe in that thing existing or not, I mean, you should know stabbing at 12, were they were 12?
Well, and they plotted. Yeah, they were 12, and
like,
they literally plotted. They
killing somebody is absolutely wrong.
They planned a sleepover, put her in the woods or wherever, played hide and go seek. Literally, she had to crawl to the road.
That's so sad.
I know, I'm in your chair. I'm sorry. You'll be fine. He's
right here. You can sit next to your auntie. You can sit with the auntie. He says, no, fuck you. I want mom. Shit. Who you gonna choose? Who you gonna choose?
Chewy.
No. Bitch. Fine.
I guess I'll pet you while I talk. They believed that Slender Man was real. He was watching them, and they had to prove their loyalty or their families would be harmed. I also recall something about them wanting to become proxies and go live in his mansion, which I guess proxies are like servants. I don't really remember.
Oh. No thanks.
And then this is where and I'm going to quote, accidental summoning, just because that's the topic that we're talking about. This was no accident, became terrifyingly real. Not because a demon appeared, but because the belief manifested real life violence and trauma. So was he summoned? No, not in actuality. But psychologically, the collective storytelling, immersion, and adolescent suggestibility, Slender Man wasn't summoned spiritually, he was summoned into the shared conscience. These two girls had this idea of him. They shared this mutual desire to want to go and live on his mansion and keep their families safe and escape from whatever they were trying to escape from. Almost like a shared delusion.
You know, it kind of makes me curious. Sorry for interrupting. It kind of makes me curious with some of these things if it just kind of if it kind of makes your brain go into like psychosis.
It's very possible. That would make a lot of sense also, though.
Yeah. Because it's like you're thinking of something and you're manifesting something so hard and so much that The brain is so weird. It's so weird. Anyway.
Yeah, you're cute or whatever.
You got little fangs.
Sociologically, the internet created a desensitized and decentralized myth machine. There's no gatekeepers in the internet. He just grew because people fed him. It was whatever you say goes, and anybody could add on to this folklore of Slender Man. One day he could be this, the next day he could be that.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly being told he was like what parents would tell their children would eat them if they went into the Forbidden Forest and kind of stuff like that. So, like, how much has it grown?
Yeah.
And then
we really are the creators of our own realities.
And then back to the Candyman topic, if you can create entities, is he a case study in the digital age manifestation? Because Slender Man was completely created through digital age. I mean, he started on a form on the internet as a Photoshop contest.
That's just a whole ass thing to think about. Wow.
If you're curious as to how you can summon him, these were some of the things that circulated. Online users said that you could say his name 3 times in a mirror. And so that's something we see pop up quite a bit in Bloody Mary, in Candyman, in Slender Man. It's always mirror, it's always 3s, and it's always repeating the name. It's repetition.
I'm curious where 3 comes in, because it's involved with a lot of different things. Because then also, like, when they say when people pass or whatever, it always goes in 3s. But then also, if you look in like Christian, beliefs, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. So it's like the 3s.
3 knocks.
Yeah. What is it with 3?
What is it? Witching hour too, isn't it?
Is that 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock, yeah.
What the fuck is up with 3?
Maybe that's another thing we go into.
Anybody have any information on that or your opinions? Like, I'm just sitting here thinking as you're talking about everything, and I'm just like, 3 is like literally in everything. Paranormal or spiritual or whatever.
And everything. They were never a part of the original story. They emerged as the legend grew. That's the accidental summoning theme. People role-played these rituals for fun, and others took them very seriously. And then the myth solidifies through things like the stabbing, through the game that was created, Slender, the 8 Pages, which solidifies the leaving him drawings at night in the woods. Like, he started as a contest and grew into this huge thing. So whereas with Candyman, he started as a small short story in a book, and then got a film adaptation, which then grew and grew and grew from there, Slender Man started completely online.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's how pretty much everything kind of comes to be, like Krampus and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to say certain things because, like, I don't know if people will have their children listening to this, even though they probably shouldn't be listening to this.
Absolutely not.
Like Santa and stuff. The
Tooth Fairy.
The Tooth Fairy. I mean, like,
there's a creepy ass movie about there's 2 creepy ass movies about the Tooth Fairy, but one distinctly, it's like these little gremlin things that
don't they use the teeth to like make houses or make their.
They just want them.
That's weird.
They just want them.
Why? Bone? I don't know. It just goes to show you, like, we literally are the creators of our own reality, because there's so many lores, so many legends, so many different things that we have just created over time. And it's crazy because then, like, most of the things, like, when you talk about them, people think that these things are real.
Well, I'm like, so, like,
but we've made them real. Like Slender Man.
Well, and like they kind of tried to do something like that with, I don't know if you remember a movie called Sinister. I don't know if I've watched it. The premise is that an author that does true crime moves into a house where these killings have happened. His family has no idea that something has happened there, and then things start to happen, and he finds all these tapes that depict these killings, but they were actually like.
Did you see that?
I thought it was a bug.
It is a fuzz. Fuzz was attacking me.
But like they all were possessed and
Wait, didn't you tell me about this like a few episodes ago where he knew that this happened there, but the family didn't?
yeah, he knew. The family didn't.
You said he was an author, right?
Yeah, and he was a true crime author. And he was trying to
Oh.
then like talk about it. But the reason I bring it up again, and I'm trying to figure out what the entity's name was, because it makes me think like when the movie first came out, um, in the movie, damn it, not the fucking. Apparently, there's a video game called Sinister Entity. Bagul, that was his name, Bagul. But
Mm.
when the movie was released, when Twitter was big, people had actually created Bagul Twitter accounts and were tweeting at like as if they were him
Oh God.
and tweeting as if they knew how to summon him and stuff like that. And so like that was just I feel like kind of a failed attempt necessarily at creating a myth out of
Yeah.
this pop culture thing. Because I think he's supposed to essentially be like a boogeyman.
And he was from this
Yeah,
movie.
he's from
This
this
Sinister.
movie. He's not like an actual thing.
Now, I have a question. So, kind of going on that. Oh, I'll pop up a photo. Hey, come to the salon, man. I'll get you fixed up.
Ashley's Paranormal Salon.
Shit. You need a nice facial. You need some deep conditioning treatment on that hair. And for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a cosmetologist. I'm a hairdresser, so that's why we're talking about it.
She
That's
did
funny.
my hair.
I did. Ah! Anyway, where I was going with that whole thing was how the movie kind of created, or the movie led to people kind of creating this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think that the movie It, or the book It, or anything of that sort contributed to these people starting to dress up as the killer clowns
Oh, 100%.
in the towns? So it's like
100%.
something that was in a movie that was just made up, that was just a character, actually people created that in their communities, and people started dressing up as killer clowns.
Well, so there's a lot of there's actually a Killer Clowns from Outer Space movie.
Oh my God.
I think clowns are a universal sign of fear and just creepy. But yeah, I do think a lot of it came from it, because when you think of scary, creepy clowns, you're gonna think of Pennywise.
Yeah. Or
So
that other guy. That one other guy from that really gory movie where he like ripped the girl in half.
Oh, Art, Terrifier. Yeah, he's coming to the thing now too.
He's really creepy.
The fucking I don't know.
He's more creepier than It, in my opinion.
I think it's the
because he looks like a person. Like, I mean, obviously he's a person in makeup, but he looks more human than It does.
Yeah, 100%. He looks like if it was a serial clown killer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I do happen to like Art the Clown. He's funny.
I know.
Funny. He's vindictive and he's very aggressive, but he's funny.
I know. And I have seen that movie because you made me watch it with you.
We found it. So Chris and I found it on a Reddit thread when we were trying to find horror movies to watch, and this was a like a top 10 movies to run if it's a first date. Like, don't watch it if it's a first date. If somebody
Art the Clown.
Yeah, if somebody brings this up, run if that's your first date. And it was Terrifier, and so we're like,
that would be something you would choose to watch on a first date.
Exactly. Well, I think though, if you're thinking about it, if you're not a horror buff and you don't know if the other person is a horror buff, that's kind of a lot to put on somebody. But then also, if I were a man showing you this killer clown that's being brutal towards women,
that's true.
That's kind of a
red flag guy. Reds across. Red flag. Red flag. Red flag. Red flag.
Yeah, no. But that's how we found it, and we were like, "Oh, this is stupid." Oh my God. But that's kind of how we were with The Descent, too. Like, we thought it was going to be lame, and then we were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you remember, and you probably don't. But when we had my birthday party when Teresa was in town,
Mm-hmm.
and we all went to the movie store and we got a whole bunch of movies. And I remember Jackson's mom's rule was nothing that could potentially be real. And so we
Oh
had,
my God, we were so. That was during the time where we had to go pick out movies.
yeah, we had to go to a movie store and pick out movies like a rental.
Was it a Blockbuster or something?
No, it wasn't the girl. Weird. That no.
What was it?
I think it was just there was a video store on JFK. I think.
Do you remember? I forgot what it was called because there was one over on like Valero off of Highway 5. It was where you could borrow the DVDs from like these little kiosks.
Redbox. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I just remembered Redbox.
Well, it's like Netflix started as a DVD rental thing. You would get DVDs mailed to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to go.
Forgot about that.
We had to go and we rented a whole bunch of movies for my birthday because it was a whole weekend thing, and her whole thing was it can't be anything that would be too realistic. And we got The Descent because we started to watch it and we were all collectively, because it was me, Ashley, Taylor, Teresa, and I think that was it. And we were all like, this is fucking stupid. Like, this sucks.
And as an adult, I'm watching it and I'm like,
ugh. And like, it was actually really interesting as an adult. But as a kid, we were like, this fucking sucks. Like, next. But yeah, I don't know where we were at all with that huge segue.
This one's called one word. Run.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Run, bitch! Run!
You sounded like Mater.
I knowed I'd made the right choice.
Okay, buckle up. This is going to be kind of a long one. Prior to 2016, I lived in Palmdale, California. My sister, Honey, and my youngest daughter lived with my mother in a rented townhouse apartment in Oxnard, Oxnard. Okay. About 2 hours away. Weird. Anyway, every week or two, I made the long drive to take them shopping and clean their house because they were both disabled. My mother was my heart and my sweet sister helped raise me, so anything they needed, I was there for them. On the first floor, the kitchen was in the back with a door that opened to the backyard, then a big open space in the living room, and then the front door. On the right, the bathroom and my mother's bedroom. The stairs were on the left with a half-wall railing going up the first landing. My mom was sitting in her lift recliner on the right facing the base of the stairs. One night, we were all sitting in the living room watching a show with the lights on, and my daughter was upstairs in her room. We were laughing at something we saw on TV when I saw something on the stairs. It darted down the steps real fast, peeking up at me, then ducked down behind the railing, followed by a cold chill that entered the living room. My mother commented that it was cold, and pulled her robe together. At first, I thought it was my daughter playing tricks on me, but when she didn't pop up, I felt concerned. I said, "Mama, did you see something?" Because she had full sight of anything there. She said, "No, dear. I thought I did, but there's nothing there." That's when it hit me, and instinctively, I knew what it was and where it came from. I ran up the stairs and burst into my daughter's room. "What did you do?"
Oh.
She looked at me with her eyes wide. She knew exactly what I was referring to and started apologizing. I told her to tell me what she did to bring it into this house. She proceeded to tell me when her girlfriends were there, they thought it would be fun to summon a spirit. Then they tried to reach the father of one of her friends who passed away 2 years prior, but she said something else came through and it scared them, so they stopped and her friend ran home without even saying goodbye. Well, I was furious. How dare you play with something you don't understand? I told her I knew she was trying to help a friend, but for heaven's sake, I warned her years ago never to mess around with things she didn't understand and had no control over. I was thinking that not only do I constantly worry about my family's health, now I have to worry about this. I asked if she at least closed the door, and she just looked at me with a blank stare. Obviously, she did not. She said they made a Ouija board out of paper, and when they were done, she ripped it up and threw it away. The door had to be closed. We gathered the pieces, and she called her friends. 2 of them were too scared to come back, and we had to perform the closing without them. But in the back of my head, I knew that it didn't work, and it was still there hiding. At that point, there was nothing I could have done viewing the circumstance at the time. So fast forward to 2016. I had an opportunity waiting for me in Washington State, so I begged and pleaded for my mother and my sister to go with me, but my sister Honey was fanatically scared of change, and although my mother desperately wanted to go with me, she couldn't leave my sister's side. I wish now I was more persistent. So I moved, reluctantly leaving them with my daughter and her now husband to take over their care. Within those 2 years, my eldest sister's Honey's health severely declined, and my mother shared with me 8 months after I moved that she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I flew and drove back and forth to be with them, and every time I showed them pretty pictures of my new life and our beautiful green surroundings, asking them to return with me, and every time Honey would say that she was too apprehensive to leave and said no. 2018, they both passed away, my mother from cancer, my sister from an existing illness, taking a big part of my heart and soul with them. My daughter and her husband moved out, leaving all of my mother's and sister's things there. Somebody had to put their stuff in storage, and of course it had to be me. Even though I was the youngest of 6, I felt it was my duty. I drove there with my 2 grandchildren, 8 and 4, because at the time there was no one available to watch them for that long of a time. When we arrived, the place was in shambles. Dirty dishes, moldy food lined the counters and was piled up in the sink, and it looked like soot all over the floor. Mom and Honey's personal belongings were strewn around the house, and in my mother's room, a barricade of trash piled all the way up to her door. In the middle of the floor, in this open space, was a full-length mirror, and I had never seen before, hanging off of a wooden ladder. I just stood there and cried. I set up a clean spot in the living room for my grandson to play on his tablet, and my granddaughter wanted to help. As I was backing things up in the kitchen, I noticed her standing there staring into the mirror. I didn't think anything of it, but she kept standing there. Then I heard her say to me while not looking away, "Nana, can you get rid of this mirror?" I thought she wanted me to move it, but she was adamant that it be taken out of the house. I asked her why she looked so scared, and she told me that while she was looking in the mirror, she was standing alone. She couldn't see anything in the reflection around her or behind her, just darkness all around her, and something was coming. I looked in the mirror, not at myself, and it looked very dark. Say no more, not only did I take it outside, I smashed it into little pieces and threw it in the trash can. We decided to sleep in the living room. Oh, you slept there. And it took days to even come close to being done. This was the last night and we were alone. I just mopped downstairs, so I locked the doors and all the windows in the whole house, and we slept upstairs in the bedroom across from my daughter's old room. We hunkered down on some mattresses on the floor. I always left a light on in the hall. I'm reading a book online. My granddaughter had fallen asleep next to me, and my grandson was on his tablet at the end of the bed. I was getting sleepy, and my grandson started to yawn. He looked up from his tablet, and his eyes got big. Then he ran to the door shouting, "Spooky!" and slammed it. Running back, he quickly got under the covers and got as close to me as he could, making me feel very uneasy. I could see movement in the hall, dimming the light around and under the door, making swirling, strange shapes as if someone were pacing, followed by surges of blackness and wisps of cool air coming from the space under the door. That night was long, and I felt on guard until I finally fell asleep as well, but woke up hours later, and had to go to the bathroom, but I was too scared. I was waiting until daybreak, but I couldn't wait any longer. I slowly opened the door, fearing for what was waiting for me on the other side, but there was nothing. But I knew there was. I could just feel it. I tried to be as fast as I could, and I left the bathroom door open so I could hear the kids. Then I ran back, hearing a swoosh behind me. I slammed the door and laid holding the kids until daybreak. I received a call from my sister later that morning. She couldn't understand how we have been able to stay in that house. When I asked her why, she told me that when she was there grabbing some boxes of pictures, she heard noises coming from my daughter's room upstairs. She said it was loud, and she felt an evil presence, and everything inside her told her to leave, so she did. She also told me that my son-in-law, from which I had no knowledge of at the time, was practicing black magic and summoning dark energy in that room. Not cool. Late that afternoon, everything was done. The kids were in the car, and the car was packed. I just wanted to look in my mother's bedroom one last time where she used to sleep. The walls held so many memories. I felt like if I looked hard enough, I would see her laying where the bed had been, and in my mind telling me not to cry. As I stood in the hallway, a chill went up my spine, and the hairs on my neck, and the hairs on the back of my neck, and my arms started to raise, and I could feel something closing in on me. In my ear, I felt a warm breath and heard one loud word: "Run." I ran out of the house so fast, not even locking the door, and as we were driving off, my granddaughter asked me who that was standing in the window upstairs. I want to thank my son Cody. Without him, I wouldn't have had the courage to write my stories, much less put them on Reddit for all of you to read. He is my hero editor.
Holy shit.
So between her daughter and somebody's
Son-in-law.
and her
Her
son-in-law summoning and practicing black magic, something got summoned into that house.
I wonder if whatever the daughter originally brought in waited until it found somebody who it could entice.
The son-in-law,
Yeah,
with the
and
black magic.
then
So that entity had been in that house for years.
years. Wow.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Blech. No.
Wow. Okay.
this is your sign to not mess with
Don't
stuff.
summon random shit.
Yeah. Are you gonna come with me?
So this last one I have is my actual Reddit story of somebody summoning something. It's called My Summoning Experience. A while back, I was going through a tough time in my life where I felt like I was stuck in a perpetual rut without any sign of immediate change. I lost my job, I was out of money, and I had to move back in with my folks to prevent myself from becoming homeless. It almost felt like as if everything I spoke into existence was immediately doomed to fail. I started to pray to God in hopes of gaining some strength and wisdom to get through this challenging part of my life, but it seemed like all of my prayers fell on deaf ears. I was already at the end of my rope. Then I went down a rabbit hole of YouTube and I started to take a deep fascination into the occult. My interest led me down darker aspects of magic and ritual summoning. I was aware of the I was aware of the general biblical lore of demons and the whole fallout with God since I was raised semi-Christian in a semi-Christian household. But I wanted to know more behind the lore, so I decided to do my own research. I studied the hierarchy of demons and the power they have over mankind, as referenced in the 22 Lesser Keys of Solomon. I learned about kings, dukes, princes, courts, knights, and the presidents of hell. Each of the highest and the lowest of these entities have the power to bestow great knowledge and destruction and confusion onto people, while the others have dominion over the elements, reversal of fortune, the ability to reveal sacred knowledge and great wealth onto whoever the entity desires. This appealed to me the most since I was at a real desperate point in my life where I was looking for anything to remedy the situation. Sorry, they didn't separate it, and so it's all.
I came across a story like that, and somebody had made a comment. They're like, first of all, learn how to make paragraphs and sentences. I was like, damn.
I finally landed on a demon I wanted to summon, and I'm not going to say the actual name. I'm just going to go with its first letter, which starts with a C. So we're going to call it C, because I'm not saying it. C, a demon said to be greatly cherished by Lucifer, that I'll say, due to its power over wealth and influence over the heart of man to replace money as the idol of worship.
Oh.
As a test to see if anything would happen, I drew its sigil on a piece of paper on the floor. And then I got myself into a meditative state where I focused on the sigil, channeling my energy and desire into it for what felt like a good 10 minutes in total. Afterwards, I was pretty exhausted and I wanted to fall asleep. Seeing it was... feels like a whole lot of run-on sentences, my guy. Find a demon of grammar, please. Fuck, where was I?
Oh, I get it. Find a demon of grammar. Help you make paragraphs.
I was pretty exhausted and wanted to fall asleep, seeing as it was already pretty late and nothing had happened so far. However, I did get this really odd sense of someone watching me. You know the feeling you get when you know you're being watched. It felt like that. Around 20 minutes into my sleep, I found myself tossing and turning, still unable to shake the feeling of being watched. Then I started to hear small taps along my room. I knew it couldn't have been anyone in the house since my folks were already asleep, and I was the only one up at this point. I decided to do some investigating outside, and there was no animal or wind that could have been generating those noises. And the house itself is old, but to my knowledge, it never generated any sort of noise like this. I tried to shake it off as being a rodent or something, so I climbed back into bed, shutting my eyes to go to sleep, until I felt this invisible pressure on my legs. It almost felt like someone was sitting on my legs, and I started to feel this static-like sensation all over my body. At this point, I got up and I was creeped the hell out. While hearing the same tapping noise all along the room, I went into my living room, grabbed a Bible, and started reading random verses from Psalms to Revelations, and I was shocked because the voice that came out wasn't my own. It was deeper and malevolent. I continued reading the passages of the Bible till the other voice faded and my normal voice returned. It helped a little, but I still didn't sleep that night.
Whoa! Was he being possessed?
I think so. To this day, I still hear on occasion that incessant faint tapping noise, and on occasion I still feel like I'm being watched in every dark corner I pass.
not gonna lie, what came into my brain whenever that happened is if you and I are ever in a situation where you're getting possessed or something and you start talking and it's a different voice, I'm literally gonna look at you and be like, get your ass out of my friend right now.
Don't you ever possess this girl again.
I'll rebuke you in the name of friendship. Go away.
There's a meme I see all the time where it's just a quote thing, and it's like, demon possesses your body. Ow, what's going on? Yep. First time. You want something to drink? How do you live like this? I don't know. I just do it.
I feel bad for anything that is to ever try to possess me. They would be in my brain for like maybe 2 minutes.
They'd
be
want
like,
to be removed.
Dip,
yeah.
Bye. Yeah. They wouldn't know what to do. They'd be like, where the fuck is the other half of the brain cell? Like,
it's over here.
Can't possess us both at once.
They probably could.
No. They would get tired very quickly. Very quickly.
They'd want to run away from us.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think we're good. We're fine. They won't try.
They'll regret it. They gonna get the Ben and Jerry.
Yeah, I almost started cracking up whenever I was immediately thinking about that. I wouldn't run away from you. I would just start smacking the shit out of you. Get out of her right
I could
now.
see you 100%. Like, you've seen Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
The end where he puts him in the shed and plays it. You would 100% do that.
I have told Steven, I was just like, if you were to ever become a zombie, I said, I'm not killing you. I'm sorry. I said, I will pull your teeth out and I will keep you chained up and you'll basically be my pet at that point. I said, you're going to stay forever. What are you going to gum me? Like, you're not going to eat me. I'll do the same for you.
I know.
And so, but if it ever comes to the time where it'd be my time to go, I'd be like, all right, let's go together.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to leave you in that perpetual state forever.
Well, and like, I could 100% see either one of us, like, okay, one of the other person is possessed. Mm-hmm. Getting chains, dipping them in holy water, chaining the other person up, and just bam, bam. I'm going to keep doing it so you snap out of it. And then occasionally be like, hey, look, I need what should I do? Using the possessed person as a therapist.
Oh my God. Yes.
Well, if you summon this person, then we can do this together and I'll leave your friend. I don't know about that.
Technically, you and I have only summoned one person in any of our stories, but she edits our podcasts.
Lilith.
Yeah. So too bad we can't actually summon Lilith, and too bad she can't actually edit our podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Have you accidentally summoned anything?
Yeah. If you have or have heard any stories or whatever, definitely send them to us at theafterlifehotline@gmail.com. Or if you have had any other paranormal experiences, feel free to let us know because we would love to read them and read them on the pod. So, yeah. Follow us on all the socials.
Facebook. Bing, 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 bing.
Bing, 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 bing. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
Substack.
I still got to do that.
Daneisha.
I ain't written an article. I need to do that. I need to do one for the ghost ship so I can link the ghost ship. I don't know.
All the things and stuff. There's just so much that we're having to do. But anyway, anything else you want to add to that?
No, not really.
She's like, I'm just here.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like a great podcast name.
I know. Dang.
Maybe we start a secondary podcast where we just talk about what the fuck ever we want.
And it's called I'm Just Here.
Yeah.
That would make more sense because I'm Just Here for the paranormal was just kind of like, meh.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
So we can just do I'm Just Here for just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
No. You want to see that? Let us know. Anyway, keep one foot in the living world.
And 1 year on the line.
Bye.